Hi guys, so today we're going to be making some French onion soup. Alright guys, so we're at the stove. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to turn it on high. Okay. I'm going to melt some butter. Looks like a lot of butter, but I like a lot of butter. It's good. I want enough fat so we can coat all the onions and cook them down nice and slow. I have it on high now just because I have an electric stove and it takes a while to get it going, but I'll probably turn it down to like a medium high. If you have a gas stove, you want like a medium high flame. So while that's getting all melted, we're gonna explain to you how this is gonna go. We're gonna melt the butter. We're gonna put in our onions. We're gonna caramelize the onions. Alright, we're gonna add our thyme. We're gonna add some salt and pepper. We're gonna let that cook for another couple seconds. Alright, and then we're gonna add a little bit of wine to deglaze. And then after that, we're gonna add our beef stock. And then we're gonna taste it, see if it needs any more salt or pepper. We're gonna let it simmer for like 20 minutes before we put it into our ramekins with our cheese on top and throw it into the oven. We're gonna add our bread and then the cheese and then throw it into the oven. Alright, so butter's starting to bubble. That's good. I'm gonna move it around. I'm using a wooden spoon, but you can use a spatula if you want to. Alright. Pretty good. So once that's basically all melted, we're gonna add in our onions. Alright. I'm just showing you that I'm adding in the onions, but usually I add most things away from me into a pot. It's of course a habit. This is so when you add something in, if the fat in the pot splatters, it will splatter away from you and not in your face. Make sure you do that. So I'm just coating it with the fat. I think I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper at this time too. The salt's going to help draw out the water from the a little bit more. Sorry, I need about that much. Alright. Basically did 2 of those little handfuls. Okay? So the salt's going to help draw out the water from the onions. And also flavor it. Probably gonna be surprised at how much butter I add to this. Alright, I'm at total butter content right now. I'm probably at half a stick. So that should be enough. So it's about 2 ounces of butter. Always use unsalted butter in your cooking. The reason why you want to do this is because if you use salted butter, you can't control the salt content in whatever you're cooking. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit now. I'm starting to see it brown a little bit on the bottom. And if we cook it high the whole time, then it's going to kind of like burn it a little bit on the outside, and it's not going to fully caramelize everything. So we just want to go low and slow on this. So pretty good. See those fondants on the bottom. And it looks really nice. Okay. So at this point, I would say I'm like halfway there. Alright, I still got some pieces of onion that aren't very caramelized, so I want to keep them going. You can see how some of my pieces are bigger than other pieces. That's because I had a lot of leftover onion in my fridge, so I just kind of threw it in there. Alright, so I got my thyme. I'm not going to forget it. I'm going to throw that in there. I'll mix it up. I'm adding it towards the end because I didn't want it to burn. So okay, so we got that really beautiful fondant on the bottom, right here. Okay. So I'm going to pour some wine in, and then I'm going to really stir with the wooden spoon. Always do this off the burner when you're using the gas stove, and always pour it down the side. Don't pour it directly in the middle. This is alcohol. It could catch on fire. That's definitely a possibility. You don't want to flambe off your eyebrows, okay? And always stir while you're pouring it. So I'm stirring because I'm scraping all those really nice fondants off, alright, into the soup, alright? I'm basically scraping the bottom of the pot. I really want to clean that pot off good with this spoon. I don't want to leave any of that flavor behind. Okay? So I'm going to let all that steam go a little bit. See, it's really steaming. That's the alcohol cooking off. Okay? And you're like, no, not the alcohol. But in this case, it's a good thing. So when this stops steaming so much, a couple seconds, we can add in our beef broth. And then I'm going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to stir that up. Okay, so now I'm going to taste my soup. Don't burn yourself, right? It definitely needs more salt and pepper, for sure, 100%. Okay. I'm adding that much. It's probably about a tablespoon. Okay? You might think that's a lot, but trust me, it's not. Okay, maybe it's not a tablespoon, maybe it's a teaspoon and a half. And it's really important that you taste it because the beef stocks, so beef broths, beef chicken stock, whatever you're using, especially if it's a prepackaged one, they all have different flavors. So you have to make sure you're tasting it as you go. Another thing to think about when buying a prepackaged stock is you want to make sure you're reading the ingredients, because a lot of these stocks will say other natural flavors. Guess what? That's code for MSG. You don't want that in your soup, you don't want that in your body. Well, not in large amounts anyway. But you also have to look for just MSG to begin with. I know it gives me a stomach ache, so I try to stay away from it. Some of them will have yeast extract in it, that's okay. But really, you're looking for like just it to say like beef broth or beef stock, and maybe like powdered vegetables, so like powdered onion, powdered celery, something like that, carrot puree, but no weird chemicals. Dextrose is okay, it's with sugar, but you know, as little ingredients as possible. You'll see why when we do our stock video. Okay, so I'm gonna let that simmer for about 20 minutes. I'll taste it again and adjust the seasoning if necessary. Okay, so I let my soup simmer for about 20 minutes. I also realized in my recipe I don't put a roux in it. Roux is a mixture of flour and fat that would help thicken the soup, but I don't think it needs it. I like mine a little thinner. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my soup, I'm going to ladle it into my bowls. It's still nice and hot, but if you're going to be putting it in the oven, you don't really have to worry about the temperature. This is going into a hot oven. So this is a little snack size in the ramekin. I'm showing you in a ramekin because I'm not really certain if these bowls that I got from IKEA are oven proof or not. I know they can go in the microwave, but even when I put them in the microwave, the bottom gets hot, so I'd rather not risk it. Alright, I'm gonna put the crostini in. Alright, it's actually a little, oh, it's actually good. Alright, the soup's filled up to the top. I'm going to put the cheese on top of the bread. You're going to see I stop every once in a while. So I like mine nice. Alright, it's good enough to eat. Make sure if you're going to do this, you do it on a surface that's heat proof. This is parchment paper, so it's good. Up to I think like 500 or 600 degrees. If you have like a Formica counter or something, you don't want to blow torch on it. Make sure you torch on top of your oven maybe, or on top of a sheet pan, but Don't set your house on fire. Okay. Just a little more on blow torches. You can buy this for like 50 bucks at Home Depot. Great for pilot lights, great for creme brulee. I actually think these are a lot safer than the tiny little ones you get at cooking supply stores or whatever, because it has this quick release trigger. So you just release and it turns off. The other ones, they have all these little knobs and stuff, and you know, you burn yourself trying to figure out how to turn it on and off. I also like that it has a lock feature, so you won't accidentally press the button, but you know, make sure you keep this away from children. Alright, it's not a toy, even though it's fun.